Have you ever played a game of Sudoku? As you try and place the numerals 1 through 9 in each row, column and smaller square, it feels mathematical. But really, those numerals could be replaced with pictures or symbols and the puzzle will still work. What is undeniable is the level of logical reasoning that it demands, and students these days rarely get that logical reasoning in their mathematics classrooms. In this episode, I'm going to explore the sixth hallmark of number sense tasks, and that is they should require creative thought and logical reasoning. Now, number sense shows up when you can solve the one problem many ways, because this involves creative thought and logical checks. Let me explain. Many years ago, I was working with a class and we were brainstorming all the strategies we could use to solve one problem, 49 plus 16. It was a rich conversation, and by memory we came up with more than 6 different strategies. Now, this triggered daily number sense discussions whereby I gave them an equation and they would work in pairs to try and list as many strategies as they could. I'll never forget this pair of girls who came up with quite a list for solving 37 plus 38. Let's take a look. So these are the strategies for adding 37 plus 38. They would leave one addend alone and then split the second addend into tens and ones. So 37 plus 30 plus 8. They would leave one addend and then round the second addend and then adjust their answer. Or they'd round both addends and get 40 plus 40, and then they'd have to subtract 5 to adjust. They can move 2 from the 38 and place it over onto the first addend and get 40 plus 35. The girls thought you could double 37 and add 1, and then they realised you could double 38 and take away 1. They could work with multiples of 5, so 35 plus 35 is easy to double, and then 5 more. Or they can add the tens, and then add the 7 and 8, which they just knew was 15. And lastly, they said, that's just 5 15s, because then they realised that each 30 had a pair of 15s. Now, although they're working together, it is clear that this list requires some creative thought, as some of the examples are simply not intuitive, particularly that last one. I would also argue that if any student or adult had a repertoire of strategies that include compensation, doubling, decomposing, place value, or counting up, then it would require some form of logical testing to decide which strategy is the most appropriate given the problem at hand. But you can also reverse the thinking and have the students write all the different equations they could solve using one particular strategy. Let's take a look. 45 times 9 is the same as, or has the same value as, 450 subtract 45. So if I want 9 45s, I could think 10 45s is 450. So 9 45s must be one group of 45 less. So 450 subtract 45 will give you the total product. There are many different equations students can solve using the same strategy, such as 23 times 9. If 23 times 10, or 10 23s, is 230, then 9 23s must be just 23 less. That's 207. The creative thinking that this exercise requires will serve to develop a student's sense of numbers. You can also involve them with creative thinking using a calculator, or should I say a broken calculator. Let's take a look at what I mean. How might you solve this if the 8 key is broken? I can't input 78, and I can't round up and input 80. I guess I could round back and input 70, but what do I do with the 8 remaining? I think you can see that it would make sense to split 8 into 4 and 4 more. I like this activity because all the while it should be helping students understand that they don't need a calculator anyway. Many years ago, I had the opportunity to work with 2 amazing writers, Carol Findell and Carol Greenis, who are both from the USA. They wrote simple little puzzles for elementary students that, much like Sudoku, were designed to develop logical reasoning. We published them and we called them Zooples, which is simply an anagram for puzzle. Let's take a look at this one from grade 4. Although you have to place each digit from 1 to 9 in the square, unlike Sudoku, they must total the numbers that are shown in the circles. This makes it far more mathematical than Sudoku. Fortunately, students can draw on clues if they need them. So first you need to figure out where to start. This total is only 6, so we can't use 9, 8, 7, 6, or even 5 in that row. Can we use 4? No, because we can't have 4 plus 1 and 1, because that would require us to use the number 1 twice. So we can only use 3, 2 and 1 in that row. Now I can reason where I need to place those 3 digits. 10 is the next greatest total. If 3 is at this end, that would mean that 7 remains and must be shared over 2 spaces. We have already used 2 and the 1, so that rules out 5 and 6, and there is no 0 to pair with 7, so we now know this number can't be 3. I think you get the idea, so I'm going to jump ahead and show some clues. The number that belongs here is prime, so we know that that must be either 2 or 3. If this number is even, then it must be 2, which means 3 is here and 1 is here. We have 2 here, so 16 subtract 2 is 14, which means we need a total of 14 over these 2 spaces. These could be 9 and 5 or 8 and 6. Let's reveal a clue. So if this is even, we know it must be 8 and 6, but we don't know which one goes where. Oh, this must be 8 and that must be 6. Let's look again at our total of 10. We don't have many digits left. We know we need a total of 9 altogether, but we only have 4, 5, 7 and 9 left. Of these, which pair total 9? If this space here is 4, then 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 9 makes 21. So this row is right. I guess 7 goes here, but let's check. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 7 is 18. So that row is correct too. And there you have it. I hope you agree that these puzzles require quite a deal of mathematics and logical reasoning, which all serve to develop students' sense of numbers. I like the puzzles too because they foster the language of mathematics. This particular example had the use of the terms prime and factors and even. And this is what I want you to do. 1. Look for activities that inspire creative thought. This might simply be asking students to write all the different strategies for solving one particular problem, or having them write all the different problems they can solve using the one creative strategy. 2. Try to find activities that foster genuine logical reasoning, as I think this aspect is often overlooked and therefore underdeveloped. I've given you one more Zooples in the link below. And finally, if you've seen value in this episode, please subscribe today so you never miss another learning episode with me. See you next time.